Hello and welcome to another episode of Lost Gotham TV. This is another episode reviewing Richard Laymon, and this is going back to the timeline of things here. This is one of his earliest published books. This book was actually published the same year as The Cellar. Okay, and everybody knows about the Cellar. If you're a Richard Laymon fan, they know about The Cellar. But unless you are a more dedicated fan, you might not know about this book. It was written under the pseudonym Carl Laymon, and Richard Laymon used several pseudonyms over the years to try out different things. Again, I talked in one of the earlier videos about the Lee Willoughby pseudonym as a house name for a series of authors. Well, Richard Laymon tried a couple of books under the pseudonym of Carl Laymon. I don't know why. Maybe there's something somewhere in interviews and things with his daughter, because he himself didn't really do a lot of. He only has like one video interview that I know of, but there may have been some written interviews somewhere where he talked about his reasons for using the different names. But one of the reasons for me, I think maybe he used it to separate himself but still keep it kind of close, because obviously he kept the same last name. He only changed the first name. And I'm not sure why. I think maybe because there is... No, I'm misremembering it. Never mind. Ignore it. So anyway, the book we're going to be looking at today is Your Secret Admirer. Okay, and it is a young adult book. Okay, it's kind of thin. It was intended for younger readers, you know, very much in the same vein as something like a Judy Blume, or not Judy Blume. Judy Blume's like even younger. What am I thinking? Like a Nancy Drew, Hardy Boys kind of thing, and it doesn't necessarily have this. I'm not saying that this is like a mystery kind of thing like Nancy Drew or the Hardy Boys, but there is a mystery here where this story is based around the fact that a young girl named Janice receives a letter from a secret admirer, and it's vaguely threatening. And so the drive of the book is that she, along with some friends, is trying to figure out who sent her this letter. And through the course of the book, she receives some more letters. And that's about as much as I'll say about the story. I won't really go into detail about the characters and what they're like, what happened to them. If you can pick up a copy of this, I do recommend it. This one, I don't remember how much it cost me, but I have seen them for sale for like $5 to $10. And if you're a fan, I think that's a solid investment. This one's in good condition, very little wear around the outside or the spine or the pages, very good condition. One of the ones I saw for like $20 on eBay looks like it's been, I don't know, thrown into some rocks and stepped on. It does not look the best, and they want $20 for it. I paid less than that for this, and it's just about pristine. There's like maybe some shelf wear and some yellowing of the pages. But I digress. So, I was a little bit concerned. You know, this is a children's book, so were we still going to have the same stuff that we get from Richard Laymon's other books? Because obviously we're not going to have the rape and the sex and the level of gross out violence that we do have in many, if not all, many of his books. It's definitely not there. But there is some other stuff there that kind of, it lets you know that it's a Laymon book. Okay, I'd say that for sure. Some of the character development, the character personalities and things, some of the things that they do, it's very typical of Laymon characters. And even though it was for kids, I really enjoyed it. You know, it is a little adolescent, and there are some parts where, because we're dealing with teenagers, there is a little bit of kind of teenage angst, a little bit of puppy love, and so it does have some of the more tepid hints of romance or sex, you know, as it as it progresses. We've seen things like it in some of his other books, but obviously it is really dialed back. So it is safe for kids. It's a kids book. It's safe for kids, and if you're looking for something of Laymon's to read to get away from, you know, if maybe some of the sex and violence is a little bit too much, I do recommend it as a read. Um, it's a good solid book. It's a good example to me that, off the top of my head, I can't think of a single one of his books that I really didn't like. Obviously, there are weaker entries. You know, not the biggest fan of the Cellar series. I've talked about that. Um, and there are some other ones like The Woods Are Dark, but that's something that we're going to talk about in detail later on. That's a special circumstance right there. But yeah, Your Secret Admirer, if you can find a copy, I definitely recommend it. It's not the longest of his books, so it is a quicker read. You know, probably again 150 pages or so. But a good solid read. Definitely recommended. That's it. No rambling, no padding today. Go out, read some Laymon, and I will see you next time.